What are the most common causes of timeline delays when outsourcing small molecule development? And how do you think sponsors and CDMOs can work together to prevent or at least quickly address these delays?
Yeah, excellent question, Jeff. Thank you for that. There are many contributing causes that might delay your timeline. Some of the common ones that we've seen over the years are unexpected tech transfer and operational complications, which inevitably trickle down into comparability questions that might impact your material, your equipment, your product handling. You may also see delays in assay development based on varying levels of expertise, lab equipment, reagents, et cetera. And tertiary to both the sponsor and the CDMO, you might have insufficient raw materials, specifically if it's a novel raw material, supply chain issues, specifically if your product is cold chain managed, and really building it in that contingency to make sure that you have everything that you need is important. Your SMEs are often resource constrained. All of our teams are running very lean these days, so balancing the resources on the teams is important. You may run into unexpected quality and compliance issues based on a poor audit outcome on either side, whether it's the sponsor or the CDMO. A facility issue, a contamination issue, a malfunctioning cold room, all these things might delay your timeline. And sometimes we want to think about enabling success, both the sponsor and the CDMO, and really looking at realistic timelines. Oftentimes when teams are under a sense of urgency, their timelines are very, very aggressive, and you end up in the situation where you're overpromised and underdelivered. And that's a situation you want to avoid. So what can we do to avoid these situations? Dedicate sufficient resources upfront, early on, to really define the details as much as possible for inclusion in your original contract, in your MSA. This would include processing, equipment, your raw materials, your timelines, any quality remediations you want to include prior to operations is important. Establish contingencies for your critical operations, whether it's supplies or even a manufacturing line. And I highly recommend having an available person in the plant to partner with your CDMO, just so that there's a tight exchange of information. And of course, tightly partnered, dedicated project teams to ensure that all the details are managed well.
Can I add a little bit to that? I absolutely agree with you, April, on all of those points. Something that I find very helpful on the sponsor side is you already know when your timelines. You know that you need this product at the clinic on this date. Is that what you're going to tell your CDMO? No. Build yourself some wiggle room in there, right? Because in manufacturing, something always happens. There's always a delay. There's something wrong. There's a deviation or something. So build yourself that cushion so that when something does happen, you're able to work hand in hand with the CDMO to work on the fix or the path forward. Don't schedule yourself too thin where you're saying, okay, I need this product on this date. The next day I need to do QA release, and then you're kind of selling yourself short where you're not able to meet those timelines. So really build in some of that in ahead of time so that you don't fall into that that horrible place where now everything has to be done the day before.
and I can add, sure, I mean, you mentioned, sometimes we underestimate procurement and supply chain challenges at the CDMO. We, the sponsor, will provide the API, but the CDMO will procure some of the excipients, the raw materials. You have to be able to transfer the risk assessment excipient as well, one of the critical material attributes. And you have to understand from the CDMO standpoint, how will they qualify the new vendor at that time, which could be a cumbersome process for CDMO to qualify a new vendor for the excipient. So you, as a sponsor, have to really understand and be very aware of the internal processes at the CDMO, including sometimes we overlook what we call the turnaround time. How long does it take at the CDMO site to review documents? When is it review time for the first draft, the second draft,